Now let's cover multi-value form input. Imagine that you created a property for venue, which is a multi-property, and that's the component data type equals string and data type equals set, for instance, and you wanted to provide the user a way to select from a list of possible options. In this case, the property may be enumerated or it might not. In the examples in the slide, you would like to add a property that specified what sorts of events a venue specializes in, and the user of the form can select from any of the available options. The XML definition for the event type property would look something like this: property name equal event type, category equal music, data type equals set, component data type equals string, and column name equal event type. So basically, we're going to have a multi-value form input in the JSP code, as seen here. In the code example in the slide, notice that there's a DSP input tag for each checkbox in the list, but they all refer to the same bean property. This means that all the values the user enters will be stored in the multi-value event type property. The actual string stored is specified by the value attribute of the tag, such as theater. The string displayed is not part of the tag at all, such as plays and musicals. The concert checkbox is marked check equals true, indicating that this value should default to checked. The value tag is used differently here than in a text input field. Here it's used to specify the value to add to the multi-value property rather than the default value. Another way to allow users to select several items is by using the DSP select tag for a drop-down list, along with DSP option tags for each item on the list. The details of that syntax is available in the documentation. The approach is to allow the user to select a single value from a list of options is similar. But instead of checkboxes, you would use radio buttons. Or instead of a multi-select list, you will use a single select list. So how does this work with HTML and hidden input fields? Let's cover that here. HTML hidden form fields allow you to pass a value to the target page without allowing the user to enter it or to even see it. And here we have an example of JSP using a hidden field. The above code is equivalent to URL newpage.jsp item ID equal some value. Because this example shows a plain HTML input tag instead of a DSP input tag, the value passed must be literal. Only DSP tags support the use of param value and bean value. To use a dynamic value, you would have to get the value of the bean or the param yourself, such as input type equal hidden, name equal item ID, value equal DSP value of param some element ID. So let's see how DSP hidden input fields work. DSP hidden form fields allow you to pass a value to the form handler without allowing the user to change it or even see it. In the JSP, you see the DSP input tag. DSP hidden input tags do the same things as regular HTML hidden input tags with the added abilities. The ability to use a literal, a bean property, or a page parameter as the source of a value. Plain HTML only supports literal values. And also the ability to set the value in the bean property, most often the form handler when the form is submitted, in addition to passing a parameter to the target page. Often, you use hidden input tags to allow the page designer to control the behavior of the form handler. If the component being set were session or global in scope, you could simply use the DSP setValue tag to set its properties. However, remember that form handlers are most often request scoped, and the values need to be set not as part of the current request, which would happen with the DSP setValue tag, but as part of the form submission request. That's what DSP input tags do. Plain HTML input tags and DSP input tags can be mixed and matched freely in a DSP form. If you are not setting a bean property and just want to pass a value as a parameter, then the regular HTML input would be correct. Note that there's a slight syntactic difference between the HTML input tag, which does not require a slash to close the tag, and the DSP input, which like all JSP tags does require a closing slash. Hidden DSP fields are used frequently within Oracle Commerce, and this will be shown shortly.